Yes. I will call the Land Use Committee to order.
We are live on YouTube, just FYI. We're back live.
Oh, we're back live. Oh.
Yeah.
All right, and what we have on the agenda is the zoning code text amendments. Bridget.
Yes, thank you. I want to basically discuss why we are here. Currently, we have a temporary moratorium in place as we were waiting for the General Assembly to address the regulations governing adult use cannabis industry. To date, that has not happened. So the only language that is in the Ohio Revised Code is the Issue 2 language. So the entire new chapter, 3780, is based on the language from Issue 2. I will also like to point out that this chapter is different than the Ohio Administrative Code chapter that governs medical marijuana. So they are separate and distinct at the state level. Another key issue with the definitions that are in the Ohio Revised Code new chapter is the definition is specifically what came out of the ballot. And so it groups together adult use cannabis operator means a level 1 use cultivator, a level 2 adult use cultivator, a level 3 adult use cultivator, an adult use processor, and an adult use dispensary. In medical marijuana, we have a temporary moratorium in place while we were waiting for the General Assembly and the administration to come up with the regulations based on that issue. That took about 15, 16 months, and in that process, they also had basically language that grouped all the different types of uses together. However, once it was released to the cities, each one of those uses was separate and had different regulations and requirements. So if you look at the city zoning code, every one of those ones that I just read as a single definition are separately defined, had separate rules and regulations, and those are all reflected in our current zoning code. Since the state General Assembly has not taken up this issue, and these items have not been separated, the administration, in consultation with the Planning Commission, is taking a conservative approach. If we're going to actually use adult use cannabis, or include adult use cannabis as a land use in our zoning code, the Planning Commission voted unanimously to recommend that it be in the industrial zoning district only. This is being listed, we are light industrial, and I included the map, and hopefully all of you saw that we have industrial all over. My office on Overhold is in the industrial zoning district, Advanced Display is in the industrial district, the bike shop on Lake Street is in the industrial district. In fact, that whole expanse on that north side of Lake Street is. So it's not going to be something that's cordoned off into a corner. But what it does ensure is that we are away from schools, substance use facilities, and there is surface parking available until we get some of the regulations from the state. So we feel that this is a reasonable approach. Right now, only provisional licenses are being issued to existing dispensaries, cultivators, and processors under a tag called a dual license operating agreement, or dual license operator. So we only have one existing, and they are in our commercial zoning district. So this zoning would not allow that to continue. However, there have been discussions, and we will be bringing forth to council in July an operating agreement that would allow that existing dispensary to potentially get a dual use operating agreement with the city that would allow them to then be eligible for the dual use that is being issued at the state level. The conditions that are listed in the proposed draft recommendations for the industrial exactly match the ones that are currently used for medical marijuana, with the exception of the fact that they did recommend that for residential districts, Planning Commission recommended it be 500 feet from any, where with medical marijuana the state requirement was 100, and that was reflected actually in our medical marijuana dispensary as 100 feet. So, and that is of the operating building. So the building currently where the medical marijuana dispensary is 100 feet from the parcel line of the closest residential property. Planning Commission felt because we don't have any of the rules They were more comfortable, with, having council consider continuing the temporary moratorium until those rules are in place, but since they weren't, they went more conservative, that's why they're suggesting the 500. In addition to the adult use cannabis facilities, the Planning Commission and staff are recommending that we also add a new use, a separate use for vape shops. We actually do not have them as a separate land use currently in our zoning code. They are just considered retail operations. But because we've had a significant number of them located in the city, and because there have been some challenges with them, we decided to present this as an amendment, new land use as well, and also include them in the I district. They do not have the same conditional limitations with the ones I was just referring to with the adult use cannabis. The only condition for this is every vape shop must not be located within 500 feet of another vape shop, so that we're not creating a district of those. And that would be a conditional use as well. I want to highlight that would only apply to new vape shops that were coming into the city. All vape shops that are currently under operation would then be considered pre-existing non-conforming uses and would be able to continue operating in perpetuity, and only would need to cease operations if they could stop selling vapes for a period of 2 years. At this point, I can take any questions.
Yes. Questions? Questions from council?
Boy, look at that.
Is
zoned
everything
out.
is clear, crystal clear. All right. Any questions from the audience?
We got to get some paper cut out there. Right?
All right. Well, back to council.
Maybe the goat
Um,
will come back.
I'd like to make a motion that we authorize the addition of adult use cannabis and retail stores to the city's industrial district with emergency.
Second that.
All right. Are there, do you have any comments?
No, I don't have any other comments. I think that this is an emerging industry, and we're just going to see more of it. I don't think weed's going anywhere anytime soon.
All right. Any other comments? Jeff?
Yeah, I appreciate all the work you did. I was ready to come in here and really argue this point, but this really, I think, is going to be the best solution, the way it's going to work out for everybody.
All right. Any
Mike
other
has
comments?
his hand up.
Does
Mike?
that count the vape shops too? Did you want that in this one?
She said the retail shops, I know there's a motion on the floor, but she meant vape shops. So.
I did, yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's all, just checking.
Okay. So, okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And say same sign, against.
Okay, whatever that means.
All right, passes.
Okay, with that, we're adjourned.
Same sign.
It moves forward to council.
Long road,
I have a
bud.
feeling we use a
Yeah.
lot of